Welcome to the Cryptonomatron. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, I'm doing a review on Moonlight ICO. But if this is your first time here and you want to know more about ICOs, blockchain, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and other related stuff, then click on that subscribe button, click on that bell notification icon, and you'll get notified as soon as I upload new content and as soon as I go live. Okay, thanks for doing that, guys. Let's get on with the Moonlight ICO review video. So you might be wondering where the name comes from, a recruitment blockchain called Moonlight. Well, moonlighting is when somebody's got a regular job and is doing something else on the side.
Moonlighting! Moonlighting! Fuck's sake, that's a joke.
So what is the Moonlight ICO? Well, it is a decentralized platform built on Neo that's going to change the way companies recruit and scale their workforces. It is a blockchain-based talent matching platform. It has a matchmaking algorithm that's built into the smart contract to provide recommendations based on skill set. It's going to be open source, so it'll be publicly defined and available as well. It's got some cool key features. Some of them are resource identification, advanced project coordination, trustless resumes, remittance, even project crowdfunding and decentralized staffing. So let's get into it. As usual, we'll start off by looking at the competition. So the only competition that I'm aware of that's doing a similar thing is A-Worker. Now I signed up for their mailing list before the ICO kicked off. ICO is still going. I believe token sale number 4, or part 4, starts on May the 26th, so there's still time to get involved with this ICO if you haven't already. And again, they're just a recruitment blockchain via smart contracts. A couple of interesting partners there: Philip Morris, the tobacco firm, and Tom Taylor, I think they're a clothing manufacturer if I'm not wrong. So yeah, that's probably the, I would say, the main competitor in the blockchain space. But if you know of any more, again, stick them in the comments below, because this was the only one I really could find. Honourable mention goes to BTU Protocol. BTU Protocol, I reviewed it some time ago. You can watch it up there. It's a blockchain solution to make processes more efficient, especially for companies, small medium enterprises that want to use a protocol to implement more efficient processes in their business. And one of the use cases for it is actually human resources and recruitment. However, not in direct competition, as they don't have a network of trustless resumes, but I just thought I'd mention it because it will make the recruitment process more efficient for companies that do adopt it. Another project that came to my attention that could possibly be in competition, although not directly with Moonlight, is the Blue Whale Foundation. They're an ICO launching on Icon, would you believe? New platform, new ICO, and they're a decentralized ecosystem for the self-employed or freelancers, if you like. I think it's important to also look at the traditional recruitment companies, the centralized versions, and how blockchain's about to disrupt that industry. And because it is purely centralized, different recruitment agencies get large fees for providing staff to companies, and also they get percentage of the wages in some cases as well. So this is really an area where blockchain, I feel, can be truly disruptive to an established industry that's typically quite resistant to change as well. So I think we could see big changes. There's a few articles as well. If you Google recruitment blockchain human resources, lots of articles come up stating how disruptive blockchain could potentially be. I'll post a couple below for you if you want to have a further read. But again, competition is robust in this sector as far as recruitment companies are concerned. There are some major international conglomerates involved in recruitment, but blockchain is quite sparse at the moment, and I think it's going to be disruptive. So I think there's opportunity there for sure. So the problems they want to solve are quite numerous. As I said, this is probably going to be very disruptive to the way the human resources and recruitment industry does business at the moment. So the first problem is obviously the inefficient and resource intensive way that the business is done for recruiters in particular. If you're a company looking to recruit people, it's a hassle to actually put the process together. You've got to basically put out adverts for people that you want, evaluate the skills that you require, and many other things, and it is very inefficient. It's time consuming as well, obviously. A lot of people have to put a lot of effort into it and it takes time. Recruitment agencies as well, they're usually high cost and often unreliable. They maybe supply people just to make money as well. They're not focused on what the company really needs rather than their own, their own profits. So they're not the best way to go about recruiting staff, especially on a longer term basis, and maybe not even for short projects either. And as well, they often take a cut of the employees' wages, which again is another issue. Employees' skill set as well may only fulfill short-term organisational needs. Longer-term, going forward, they might not be of any use. And product development and resourcing issues can also suffer and arise due to lack of talent as well. So there's a problem there if you're recruiting. There's also a lack of trust. Again, a lot of potential candidates will falsify their resume as well to try and gain employment. That's very, very common. So how do we verify that their resumes are at least 90% correct? Then there's the performance and challenges during interviews. Studies have proven that the performance in interviews has little correlation to long-term performance in the job itself. So, people can perform fantastically, but be actually useless in the workplace. The other thing, background checks are usually necessary. If you're employing somebody, you'll often need to seek references from that person and then go check whether the employment history is actually correct. Again, back to the lack of trust issue. Or, you'll need to do some research and find out whether they've actually worked at those companies, what their salaries were, and, if the information they're telling you is actually correct. And if we refer to blockchain in particular, which is a good use case for the Moonlight project itself, there are few qualified candidates available at the moment because blockchain is a fairly new industry. There's few candidates that can actually do what they say they can do, and also few people able to properly evaluate those required skill sets in terms of blockchain development. And again, a lack of trust in ICOs. Investors don't know whether the project they're investing in, they can't be sure 100% that they can trust it. So that's another issue that Moonlight hope to solve. So the Moonlight platform leverages a number of industry standard concepts, as well as those instituted by the City of Zion Foundation, to define an ecosystem which globally optimizes employment from both an employee and employer perspective, while also improving public confidence in project success. Of course, that blurb is from the white paper. What they're really trying to do in layman's terms is utilize the blockchain to have a network of trustless resumes so that recruiters can actually find who they need for what they need at any given time. It'll all be automated through smart contracts, so there'll be no messing around, really make the process more efficient of recruitment and speed up the process, especially for employing guys for projects. For example, you've got a project you want to put together, you get the people you need with the correct skill set, which is the most difficult thing to do at the moment. So globally, the recruitment and staffing industry is massive, probably worth in the trillions, I would imagine. But this article is quite interesting because it has the revenue of the Manpower Group. Now, the Manpower Group are the third largest staffing and temporary employment company in the world, behind Swiss firm ICO and Randstad. And it just goes to show how much money can be made here. Their revenue from 2017 was over 21 billion US dollars. So there's a massive potential here. Now, I know Moonlight are going to concentrate on the blockchain industry first of all, because that's where their expertise is and also where they see the biggest recruitment problems happening. And I think that's very sensible. So before, you don't run before you can walk, and you don't walk before you can crawl. So they are taking it in stages. They are going to target the blockchain industry, which I think is very clever. Then once they've established themselves there, global recruitment will probably be on the agenda. So the potential for this particular project, is quite large. Again, I do believe blockchain is going to be very disruptive to this industry, and blockchain, it's one of those industries where blockchain can really make an impact, I feel. So So this is a NEO blockchain project, and the token is an NEP 5.1 token. I like different projects off the Ethereum blockchain. It gives us a measure of how they can challenge Ethereum in the future, and NEO's getting quite a lot of interesting projects, not least of all this one. And the way the blockchain is going to be applied here is going to record certain pieces of information that are necessary for this ecosystem to function. So when your organization is on this platform, you will have two roles: an issuer or a resolver. Now, the issuers will issue the tasks and the requirements to complete the tasks, and the resolvers will fill the requirements of those tasks. So you can think of it this way, that the issuers are a company looking for personnel to go on a project and complete a project, and the resolvers are the maybe a recruitment agency that supplies the personnel to complete that project. So the skill set will be broken down in a hierarchical order, and the higher up the tree you go, the more suitable the candidate for the role, for example. So that's basically how it's going to work. The analytics will then determine, based on all the skills available, which candidate is most suitable for the role. So the information the blockchain is going to contain are, for example, the skills. So every task completed by an organization is published to the blockchain, and the skills required for each completed task are also logged to the organization and used to represent the specific capabilities. Also, there will be reviews, so after a task is completed, then the organizations that have interacted with each other will review each other, and therefore you can get a rough idea of what it's like to deal with those particular organizations. So this project's got some pretty cool tech features. One is going to be this marketplace they're going to implement, and that's going to have matchmaking services on it, so the issuers can be matched up with the resolvers. There will be resource channeling, so any skill points or funds that have been created by tasks being completed will be allocated to the different parties accordingly. There will be the ability to bid on tasks, so if you're a resolver and you want to bid on a task, you'll be able to do so. Then you'll be able to be selected manually by the issuer of the task. Also, the resumes on the system will be both trustless, which basically means they've been reviewed and authenticated, and also conventional as well, which you'll have the opportunity to manually review the resumes. There will be a remittance service as well. Once tasks are completed, payment can be made to the resolvers, and there is an element of data sensitivity, and one of the interesting features here is that because you're dealing with quite a lot of private data, it's obviously going to be secure, but one of the interesting features is you'll be able to obfuscate certain attributes of potential employees, such as ethnicity, age, sex, etc., to give everybody a fair go, should you desire. And then there will be the task quality as well, which comes in the form of a review system. So some of the tools that they're going to provide are a public API. They're going to provide both a web API and a smart contract API to integrate with different systems. They're also going to have a project tracking and utilization feature, which means complex projects can be tracked, and obviously that's going to help more complex projects in the future as well. The platform is going to be very agile, meaning it can be used for many, many different scenarios. A lot of functionality there, and it's also going to have organizational metrics as well, so you can deep dive into everything. All the statistics you want will be provided, so you can see what can be improved so that your organization can benefit and move on and be more functional within the system. And then there's going to be this interesting project crowdfunding as well, which will allow you to actually raise funds on the platform itself. So yeah, it looks pretty good as far as the tech is concerned. So the token's called the Lux token. Lux is a measure of light. It's actually the SI unit for illuminance, if you like, and it equals, I think, 1 lumen per square meter, if I can recall from my old engineering days. And if you don't know what SI is, they're basically the International System of Units. It was a French organisation that everybody's adopted. Basically, the metric system came through it and everything else. So anyway, the Lux token is basically going to be a similar multi-token UTXO operating mechanic, going to be very similar to NEO itself and the Neon exchange. Next, who I'm sure you've heard of, my review of them is up there, and It's going to be providing a value to token holders. So much like NEO, if you hold it, it's going to generate gas, and gas will be awarded proportionate to how many Lux you actually hold. It's also the utility token within the ecosystem as well, so it's going to be used for remittance, payments, etc., and rewards to resolvers and issuers, as well as system fees, etc. Now, this project doesn't have any scam warnings or red flags about it whatsoever. I'm happy to report it's all legitimate. The team's legit, been involved with other projects before, such as NEO, City of Zion, and the NextX decentralized exchange. So no need to worry. This is just as legitimate as those other projects, and indeed they've been invited to the Blockchain Smart Economy Expo, which is on at the moment in Brussels. It's invite only as well, so very difficult to get in there, and they're one of 5 NEO related projects, including NEO themselves, that have been invited to represent at that particular expo. So that's pretty cool. So there are 1 billion total Lux tokens available. 50% of those will be available for public sale. As you can see, 25% for the pre-sale and a further 25% for the public token sale. 30% will be kept for immediate project growth, and 20% for vested project growth as well. The immediate project growth will be broken down to strategic partnerships, core developer incentives, advisory and business needs, and use on the Moonlight platform to compensate the smart economy workforce. The vested project growth will be locked in the smart contract for 24 months and will be used to accelerate new project initiatives. So there you go. So the price of the token will be around 4 cents. NEO will receive, or NEO buyers will receive 2,000 for every NEO. Gas buyers will receive 800 Lux for every gas, and Ethereum buyers will receive 15,000 Lux for every Ethereum. Now, I can say with quick calculation, as of today's prices, it is actually a little bit cheaper to pay in gas, guys. Yeah, so you might want to consider doing a little calculation before you decide which currency you want to participate in. The pre-sale will accept all 3 currencies, but the main sale itself will only accept NEO and gas. So the information I've provided here is from the white paper. The website doesn't have any information on the ICO yet, so no dates, no qualifications to participate have been released yet, and nothing else. So I guess we'll just need to wait until they release that data for us to have an exact picture of what's going on. And again, prices may be subject to change as well, you never know. The other thing that I want to point out here is the tokens themselves that are sold in the pre-sale and the public sale are actually subject to a vesting schedule. Now, if you buy between 0 and 250,000 Lux, you can get them immediately. They'll be tradable on external exchanges immediately. But if you buy between 250,000 and 5 million Lux, which is quite a lot, then you will have a vesting period of 3 months after the token sale ends. If you buy over 5 million Lux, so you're a whale, then you'll have to wait 6 months before you can trade your tokens. And this ensures that big whales can't exploit public sale participants and people that have contributed by to the pre-sale by dumping on the exchanges for quick profits. So that's going to reduce the risk, I suppose, of this dumping when it reaches the exchanges. I asked about a token burn, and I was told that they have a fair method for dealing with unsold tokens in the event that there are some left over, and it will be disclosed prior to the token sale. So they are obviously thinking about fairness here with the vesting schedule for bigger buyers, and obviously what to do in terms of unsold tokens. So this project has no intentions of having a bounty campaign, and I don't think it needs one, to be honest. I think the fact it's associated with City of Zion, Neon Exchange, NEO themselves, and Ontology as well here at this Smart Economy conference is probably enough to get people's interest in it. And that association with these other projects and Neo, I think, is enough to build the hype, because I don't believe that Neon Exchange, NextX, if you like, had a bounty campaign either. It didn't need one. The hype behind that is phenomenal at the moment. And, you know, I don't think this one needs it either, to be quite brutally honest with you. It will sell itself on the technology that they're going to implement, I think. Roadmap's pretty concise. They're looking to implement a private beta by the end of the crowd sale. They don't know whether they're going to achieve that. The devs are busy at work on it at the moment, but they don't know whether they're going to meet that deadline. So we might have to wait till after the crowd sale to see a private beta demo or something like that. However, the marketplace feature will be complete by about Q3 2018, and the beta release will be available to the public after that. Next year, they're going to be working on the project management feature as well. Again, beta release will be made available before the end of next year. So we're still a little bit in the dark in terms of when we're going to see this beta release, when we're going to see a working product or a minimum viable product. But I am assured that the devs are hard at work on it at this present time. Onto the team now, and one of the things about the team I noticed straight away is they're not modest. They call themselves the best of the best, and yeah, they're pretty strong. It's developer focused as well. They're a sister project to the Neon Exchange, so that's pretty cool. And a lot of the guys that are involved with City of Zion as well, who you may have heard of, they're the ones that created the Neon wallet for Neo. They're involved in Neo development extensively. This is a very, very good project in development terms. You can see here Alan Fong, who's the business development director and co-founder, City of Zion co-founder as well. Tyler B. Adams, again, he's a software architect, City of Zion co-founder, NEP5 standard author. Michael DeWal, back-end developer, also co-founder, also City of Zion co-founder. City of Zion developer portal. Again, you know, a lot of development experience, and that is pretty impressive here on this particular project. As I said, they are, you know, very, very strong in terms of development. There's no question of that. I mean, and the evidence is there in the other projects, what they've developed already. Some fantastic stuff. Just another one I want to point out here, Ethan Fast is on board as an advisor. He is the Nex co-founder as well. Again, Nex is Neon Exchange, if you don't know, and he's also a City of Zion co-founder. PhD in computer science. Again, I'm not wanting to single anybody out, but it is an impressive team. It's a strong team. Developer focus, as I said. As regards to implementation, which is the first question I always ask myself when I look at a team, can these guys implement? Well, you really need to ask in this case. So partnerships now, and they are quite impressive. Neo Global Capital have actually invested $1 million into this project already, so that shows that they appreciate what this project can achieve, and it's got their full backing. Obviously, City of Zion are heavily involved with this project. They're also a partner. Half of the City of Zion development team are actually working on this project as well. Thor. Well, the Thor token is the gig economy on the Neo blockchain. They have a platform for hiring freelancers. It went to ICO, I think, not so long ago, if I'm not mistaken. The VDT network is another partner. Now, they're a decentralized render farm network, which will provide the back-end layer for this project. NOS is a mobile and desktop operating system for interacting with the blockchain, so that will be important. And also, Red4Sec is a cybersecurity firm, and they will be auditing the architecture for the token sale and the applications. So the team is active on social media, not least of all Twitter. You can see them there. That's them at the Smart Economy Expo at the moment in Brussels, and at the European Parliament, would you believe? And they are joined by other projects on the Neo blockchain, including Neo themselves, Ontology Network, City of Zion, and of course Nex Exchange as well. So community support behind the project is reasonable. It's not completely overhyped at the moment, and I think it could do with a little bit more hype, but hopefully that'll build before the ICO. There's 2,780 members on their Telegram currently, and as I say, they're very active. I got answers on the Telegram pretty much immediately when I asked a couple of questions before this review, so that's a good sign. They're supporting the community. They're on all the usual social media channels. If you do want to ask any questions, you'll get answers straight away on the Telegram group, and they've also got a Discord as well, which is a good resource to discuss with the community about the project and get answers to potential questions that you've got. So, final verdict time, and first of all, let's discuss the positives. Well, the first one has got to be the NEO connection. The fact that they're so intrinsically involved with other projects on the NEO blockchain and NEO itself cannot go without saying. It is really a definite positive, probably the biggest positive about this project. And you know, the development team has already had proven success with other projects on NEO, such as Neon Exchange and also the Neon wallet as well. This could be truly disruptive to the industry as well. As I pointed out earlier, I think the HR and recruitment industries are an area where blockchain can really make a difference, and it's ripe for disruption as well. The way they do business is really antiquated. And number 4, I think the material on the project is pretty polished. The white paper is really good. It explains everything without trying to be a hard sell. It basically just says, look, this is what we're doing, and this is why you should be interested in it. And it works. It's effective. Number 5, they have capital inflow from the NGC group. NGC is obviously Neo Global Capital, and they have invested $1 million into this project, and that shows that they've got belief in what the project is trying to achieve. Number 6, the tech looks really innovative. Again, go and read the white paper, learn more about it. I explained it in very brief detail in the tech section, but it looks really, really good. Number 7, the token price and the tokenomics metrics, if you like, make sense to me. Low token price, fairly low circulating supply, and also, you know, the fairly low hard cap of around $20 million for this project. It makes sense to me. It's definitely an investment opportunity. And number 8, I like the fact that they've got a vesting schedule for whales. People that buy over 250,000 Lux will need to wait for 3 months. If you buy over 5 million, if you've got that collateral, then you're going to be waiting 6 months before you can access them. So I like that because it means there's less chance of this dumping on exchanges. Negatives, however, there's no beta release as yet, and I would have liked to see something, some working product, some minimum viable product. In this case, I'm going to let it slide a little bit because of the, you know, the team, the projects they've been involved with before, and I don't often do that, guys. I always say a beta release or some prototype is very important for a project, especially if they're trying to raise money at ICO. But as I say, the team here has been involved with several other notable projects, so I have to give them some leeway. Number 2, the roadmap is pretty vague. It could do with more detail. Not the best roadmap, needs updated. We need specific dates and times of when things are going to be implemented. Let's hope they get that updated in the future. And as of now, this project is lacking in a bit of hype, and I don't know why that is. Let's hope that they can achieve a little bit more hype and build some investor frenzy before this kicks off. And final negative, there is tokenomics details needed on the website front and center before the ICO kicks off. They're hidden away at the back of the white paper. You have to go, you know, looking for them. They should be on the website right there, right then. And I know that's what they're going to do in the future. At least I definitely hope they are going to do that, because, you know, a lot of investors are going to want to just look at the website, look at the token metrics straight away and decide whether a project's suitable. And of course, the tokenomics here on this particular project are very, they're very good. They're very inciting for potential investors. They're a selling point for this project, so they need to be on the website. So let's look at the potential gains behind this project. Now, in an ultra bearish environment, it's going to lose about a cent, 25% to 30% of its value, I feel. But everything does at the moment. You know, it's like the tide flowing in and out. If the total market capitalization loses, all projects tend to lose to a degree. A few maybe don't, but you know, I'm not going to say this will survive in an ultra bearish market. it will take a hit, I think. But a less bearish market, I can see this sort of just treading water, not losing much at all, not gaining anything, just staying where it is. It's in a bullish environment. I'm much more enthused about this particular project. I think this can do a 10x in a bullish environment quite easily. It's a solid project. You know, the development team, all the positives that I listed are going to lend to the success of this project. And I can see with the low hard cap that it's got of around $20 million, I can easily see this do a 10x up to $200, $300 million. It's not out of the question for this project at all. This has got solid fundamentals, lacking in a couple of areas with no, you know, no beta, and obviously maybe lacking a little bit of hype at this current time, but still good for a 10x in a bullish environment, in my opinion. If we go into a really perma bullish environment with a protracted bullish sentiment, 20x is easy here. You know, $500 million, upwards of $500 million even, is quite achievable for this project, especially if the developers really get their teeth into it and show us some really good stuff. So for flipping, I think even at this price and in the current environment we're experiencing at the moment, I think at the moment, yeah, this could maybe be one for flipping. Even, you know, from 4 cents to 10, 12, 16 cents, it certainly could have the potential. But again, it's going to depend a lot on the hype behind this project. And hodling, as usual, definitely going to be my play for this particular project. I think holding on to this one is going to pay off in the longer term. Again, the key to this project is going to be the partnerships with Neo and City of Zion, and the you know, the close-knit community that they're part of. Definitely going to be one for the longer term. So final verdict time, guys. What do I think about this ICO? Well, I think that Neo support will ensure this one is a success. Yeah, I'm very bullish on this project. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars, even without a working product that we can see at the moment. I know the devs are working on it. I have to give them some leeway here, purely because of the other projects they've been involved with. I trust them. You know, to make this a success, to develop this and make it work because of what they've done before, and that's why they get 4 out of 5 stars rather than say 3.5 or even 3. You know, without an MVP. I have to give them the leeway, guys. I'm bullish on this. Will I be investing in it? Yes, I can see myself putting something into this. You know, and as part of this Neo community, as one of the sort of high-profile projects on the Neo blockchain, I'm very bullish. I think this one could really go quite far. So let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments below. Are you going to get involved with this project? Do you like it? You know, let us know. Let the community know. Let me know your thoughts on this one. So there we go, that is my Moonlight ICO review video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click like. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so, and click the bell notification icon to get notified when I upload new content. I'm also over on Facebook as well. I do some exclusive content that's not shared anywhere else over on Facebook. So please go over there, check it out, like the page, and you can see me going live on occasion as well, just chatting about some news stories and other cryptocurrency related stuff. So thanks for watching today, guys. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. These ICO reviews are just for entertainment purposes only. Should be taken as such and not construed as financial advice. If you're going to invest in any ICOs or any cryptocurrencies, please bear in mind they do pose inherent risk. Always invest with wisdom and caution. Do your own due diligence, do your own research, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. And I always say, don't listen to YouTubers and make decisions based on what YouTubers or any other influencers in the space tell you. Do your own research, guys. Very important. All right? So thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.